Hello everyone. Today I will present to you essential aspects about the Autumn Equinox 2019. My name is Lennart and I'm working as an astrologer for Esoteric Astrology. So we are right about an autumn equinox, which is usually every year happening on the 22nd of September, 22nd to 23rd of September. And it marks one of the four major points of the astrological year, which is starting in spring, different from the normal calendar year. In spring we have the spring equinox, which is also the beginning of the zodiac sign Aries. Then the next major point is the summer solstice. Then the third major point is the autumn equinox. And then the fourth major point is the winter solstice. So what is an equinox in general? An equinox means in Latin equal as the night. And that shows already the what it is actually, because during an equinox, both spring and autumn equinox, almost everywhere on the entire planet, the night and the day are exactly equally long, so approximately 12 hours, with slight variations depending on the position on the globe. But in general we can say the night and the day are equal. What is happening astronomically is that the sun is crossing the celestial equator from up downwards, so from north to south, and during an equinox it's exactly on the celestial equator. Generally speaking, is marking the change of a season, so the change from summer to autumn. And this is also what is happening astrologically, is that the beginning of the sign of Libra, which is happening exactly on the autumn equinox, meaning that Libra is in exactly 0 degrees, is marking the next astrological season, you can say. In astrological terms, each season, beginning of the season, is marked by a cardinal sign. So each zodiac sign has one of 3 modes, and this mode, which I'm talking about, cardinal, is connected with a certain sense of beginning and initiating action. It has a certain connection with the element of fire, of beginning and starting, even though Libra is an air sign. What we can see also is that one half of the astrological year is finished, which is predominantly young. So the first half has a certain young quality to it, and the next half, starting from Libra to Pisces, so autumn and winter, have a certain yin quality in it, which is also shown in nature. As in nature, in the first half, in spring and summer, everything is blossoming and blooming, and then it's moving to the winter, where slowly all the beauty is withdrawn inside and manifesting a different kind of beauty. But energetically everything is drawn within, which is representing the yin quality to it. What we have also is the transition from Virgo to Libra. So the transition from Virgo means a certain also withdrawal, because Virgo is a mutable sign. All the mutable signs, they are in some way or the other connected with a certain sense of synthesizing, of finding the essence, of concluding, of transitioning to the next. Virgo does it through analyzing, through an introspection upon what are the fruits, the gifts that everyone has. In that case, myself, what is my specific skill that I have, how I can serve to the others. because Virgo is also the sign of serving. In other terms, Virgo is upon harvesting all the fruits that were growing during the summer period. And in the transitioning to Libra is the question, how can I utilize these fruits in order to bond in relationships with others? Because the sign of Libra, which is coming now, the next month will be a Libra season, is connected with relationships. How can I form harmonious and beautiful relationships to others? And also scaling the two different opinions, the two different perspectives upon reality, me and the other one. So in that moment, when this transitioning is happening, there's a certain energetical balance of yin and yang energy, which creates a very easy access towards the void. A different aspect of the astrological year is that the first half of the cycle is on the psychomental level concerned with the topic of me. All the zodiac signs, which are in the first half, are in some way or the other concerned with the internal, with my own perspective upon reality. Once the cycle is crossing to Libra, making the transition from Virgo to Libra, this second half of the cycle is concerned with the others in some way or the other. Libra starting with a sense of personal relationship that we have with the other one. The other signs are concerned later on also with more universal aspects. Considering the astrological setup in the sky, exactly in that moment of the autumn equinox, we have certain very interesting setups, which I will talk now about the major aspects. First of all, the Sun in Libra is forming a conjunction both to Mars and Venus, which asks us for action. Mars, the planet of action and courage, always triggers a certain aspiration and a certain drive to action. In the sense of Virgo, because Mars is still in Virgo, that means an action to serve, to purify to others. The conjunction of the Sun towards Venus shows a certain focus of the inner spotlight, you can say, upon relationships. So in general, we need to know that Libra is ruled by Venus, which gives a general attention towards relationships. So in that period of Libra, when the Sun is in Libra, we can very easily get aware upon everything related to relationships, not just romantic relationships, also business relationships, relationships in the family, friendship, all that is related also with Libra. Considering this, we are coming to two more difficult aspects which show two major tensions which are present on a global level. The first big tension is T-square towards Venus. Venus also makes a conjunction with the planet of Mercury, what means that both our relationships and our mind, our capacity to communicate, are aligned together, looking in the same direction in Libra, looking towards harmony, towards finding a harmonious balance in relationships, but also in the way we communicate. Because there's a T-square to Venus and Mercury, there's a certain difficulty to access actually this sense of harmony. Only if we solve a certain tension between two other planets, which is Saturn and the Moon. Saturn lies at the moment in Capricorn, which is a very strong manifestation of Saturn, as the ruler of Capricorn is Saturn, That means that the energetical manifestation of Saturn is even more emphasized and even more strong, considering discipline, hardship, the spiritual maturity, how well can we integrate the spiritual knowledge. All that is in this period very strongly emphasized. We need to know that Saturn is making a conjunction at the moment of this autumn equinox with the South Node, which shows a certain global karma, which is on a planetary level manifested, considering a certain stiffness or tension that we have accumulated in the past. A South Node in Capricorn shows that there was some misunderstanding regarding discipline and hardship, and that there's an overdoing related to that, or some imbalance related with that. What is necessary in that moment is that we move towards the North Node, towards Cancer, which is manifesting a more healing attitude, a more relaxing attitude. How can we get aware more of our needs to move away from this very stiff and tough behavior? Even though Saturn teaches us sense of discipline and perseverance also to proceed in our spiritual mission or any kind of mission that we follow. But here that conflict shows clearly that at the moment we have to find a balance. Find a balance with that discipline, and also in the same time getting aware of our heart needs. As well, the North Node making this conjunction with the Moon. So we have this double opposition here, which brings this tension. Moon and Saturn are opposite to each other. It is the principle of the mother, the Moon, the archetype of the mother, and the archetype of the father, Saturn. The one which is goal-orientated and teaches us perseverance and discipline, the father figure, and the mother archetype, which teaches us to be gentle, to be harmonious, to listen to our needs. This opposition shows that we have to find a balance in that. Even though there's a clear direction that we need to follow more towards the North Node, because the South Node is in Capricorn, and which shows karma which we need to unravel in the process of moving towards the energy of the North Node in Cancer. The T-square to Venus and Mercury shows that only once we found a balance in that conflict of Saturn and the Moon, of the father and the mother archetype, we can access that harmony in our relationship and in our way of communication. We're coming to the second big T-square in the sky at the moment of the autumn equinox, which is a T-square to the planet Jupiter. Jupiter is at the moment in the sign of Sagittarius, already since quite a while. And Sagittarius is ruled actually by Jupiter, which means it is a very powerful manifestation of Jupiter. So Jupiter is represented in our being as a sense of aspiration. It is also our connectivity to all the spiritual ideals, all the spiritual values, and also the spiritual knowledge. As well, it is also the planet of the spiritual guide. Jupiter is called the Great Benevolent because everywhere where Jupiter manifests, it makes that area grow. In Sagittarius, there is some sense of unstoppability. It's a sense of the impossible is possible. There's a great optimism related to that, in the sense of spiritual aspiration, wherever it manifests specifically in our being. This we can see closely when we study our astrological chart. So, but here we have a certain problem, a certain difficulty to access that sense of spiritual intuition and spiritual understanding and knowledge because of the T-square. The T-square is connected through an opposition between two planets which we have. One is Mars in Virgo and one is Neptune in Pisces. So here we can see a certain conflict between our actions, Mars, our sense of courage and assertiveness, and our longing to the divine. Neptune is the planet which represents in our being our love, our higher divine love, as Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. Venus is representing more the personal bonding and personal love. Neptune is representing the universal love, our longing to melt with the divine. That opposition shows that there's a conflict between our action and a certain divine integration in our actions. Also, the Mars is in Virgo. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. It is an action very much governed by our mind. Mercury is the planet of the mind, which shows a very systematic and very down-to-earth approach in our actions. On the other hand, Jupiter is the ruler of Pisces. So we have Neptune in Pisces, and Jupiter is the ruler, which is connected with the higher mind, a certain intuitive understanding of reality. In yogic terms, it's the opposition between Manas, our lower mind, and Buddhi, our higher mind. So here we are asked to find a balance between our actions on a practical level, so very practical, even planning and organizing and finding structuring things and so on, with our longing and intuitive understanding of the love, the value of love towards the supreme principle. And there we need to find balance, to bring both of them together. Once we found that balance, we can access more easily that optimism and that sense of aspiration, that really everything is possible. So during that autumn equinox, it is very beneficial to make use of that powerful balance of the planet Earth, where the yin and the yang energies are balanced. So everything, every spiritual practice is very good during that time. The peak moment where exactly the 0 degrees of Libra is happening is actually on the 23rd in the morning, between 9 and 10 o'clock. And in that time it is very good to meditate. And yeah, any form of spiritual practice is very beneficial in the time to do. And also to get aware of these aspects that I was speaking about, that transition from me towards the others, as well as the emphasis upon these two topics, our actions and our relationships. These are two big topics, and the problems that I was addressing of the two T-squares, which in short terms can be seen as harmonizing our relationships through harmonizing the conflict between over harshness to ourselves and others, finding a balance with the more motherly archetype in us, and the second, to really access the true spiritual knowledge and our spiritual aspiration through finding a balance between practical actions and a more intuitive surrendering towards the divine. So I thank you very much for following until here and listening to me. For those who stayed until now, I have a little surprise. As my birthday actually is on the 22nd of September, I want to make a little giveaway for you, because I will offer a free astrological consultation for one of you. And the condition to participate in this lottery, I will draw one person, is to just like this video, either wherever you're watching it, either on YouTube or Facebook. And I will pick one name out of the lottery, and you will receive discount free astrological consultation with me via Skype. So I will contact you then. Alright, so I thank you very much. You are welcome to share this video with anyone you feel needs to know this information, and also subscribe on my YouTube channel to receive in the future more content, as well as on Facebook. I wish you a wonderful autumn equinox and see you soon for more content.